Wedding photography is a team sport. So this is something that I talked about a little bit on my podcast last week. And I thought that I would expand a little bit more on it and how you can leverage it to book more weddings, as well as just book weddings in a faster, more organic way and charge higher rates as well. So the way that this came up was that I was talking about paid ads and how I used to only target Facebook and Instagram ads based on the very specific parameters. Usually it would be 23 to 35, maybe 40 years of age, female, recently engaged, all those parameters I would have checked. And just a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago now, Meta has changed the, at least default when you go in to create a paid ad in the Meta ad manager, it now defaults to Advantage Plus because they don't trust us to make good ads and people complain that their ads aren't working. Meanwhile, we just screwed it up. So I spent a good 10 years, maybe even longer. I don't remember when I started with Facebook ads and when I was available to use them. I was pretty early in it. And I've used it across my entire spectrum of all the things that I do, from weddings to portraits to family sessions. I'll do time-sensitive family session offers around holidays such as Christmas or Mother's Day, Family Day. Any reason that I could have a sale, I would usually be doing some sort of time-sensitive family sale. And I would base it a little bit on my email list, but primarily on paid ads and just reaching out to the local community. Now, there are a few pillars that make a paid ad good. One, it has to be usually an organic piece of content that would do pretty good or even exceptional. And then you add paid behind it to give it more acceleration and more gas and get out there a little bit more. I talk about my paid ad strategy. There's a new course that I'm putting out January 1st of this year. And if you pre-order it, I'll put a link below for you to pre-order it. You actually save, it's only $99 total, but then on January 1st, it will go up to $399. So if you get in now, you save $99. It's my full 10-step program for taking wedding photography and your passion in this and actually making it a full-time job. And it's everything that I did and everything that I would do different if I was getting into the industry right now. And there's going to be a lot of stuff in there to help you. So get in on that pre-order. It's also 100% money back guarantee. So if you get it and it's not what you're expecting, send me an email, I'll send your money back. No risk at all. So yeah, there's paid ad section in that. And I'm now using the Advantage Plus automatic campaign builder, which is terrifying to me. So if you're not familiar with Facebook ads and Meta ads and Instagram ads, you kind of, at least in the past, you'd have some automatic options. It would do some things automatically for you. But if you wanted a really effective ad, you'd pretty much have to take full control of it. And you can target very specific. You can target recently engaged. So if they've become engaged in the past 3 months, there's a drop down for that, or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. And this also maybe depends on where you live. So some countries have better privacy rights and some do not, unfortunately. So I'm speaking from a Canada, I guess, US perspective here. But I got very good at creating a very targeted ad that was very effective. I have no complaints. Those ads still worked incredibly well. But I've discovered, since letting Facebook, Meta, Instagram just kind of do its own thing, one, it was a bit scary because now I'm just doing an ad, but instead of in the past how I would do that 23 to 35 year female kind of grouping, I would now be doing something that was 18 to 65 plus. And that seems like a lot of that is outside of my target market. So why would I pay money to reach potentially a 75-year-old person on Facebook? That seems like a waste of money, right? Well, as it turns out, it has not been, and it has been more effective than my super targeted ads. So I have pretty limited data on this because I do only book 30 to 40 weddings a year. And I've maybe asked my last 20 couples how they found out about me and how they ended up on my website, eventually sending through an inquiry and eventually potentially booking with me. And a number of those couples had said that someone else had shared either my website with them or a specific piece of Instagram content or a blog post at the venue that they're getting married at. And this caused a little bit of a realization that a lot of people aren't going to be able to say that, like, oh yeah, because my aunt saw an ad, she forwarded me the specific Instagram post, and that was the chain of it. So that's why the data is a little limited, and I am reading a little bit between the lines here. But my suspicion is that because weddings are such a team sport when it comes to planning, that me just targeting one specific person was actually slowing my business down in terms of how many weddings I could have booked from those same paid ads. I explored this a little bit, I think, in Book More Weddings 2019, if you're part of the members website. I've talked about this a little bit in the other Book More Weddings courses. I update them every year if you're a member. And one of the things that I talked about in a few of those years was targeting mothers of the couple through paid ads. So again, putting those parameters specifically around somebody that could potentially have a kid that would be in that age group and targeting them. So you're writing a specific piece of content, whether it is a video or it's just text. You are doing something that is specifically knowing that it might not be them getting married, but hey, I've made this awesome wedding planning guide. Please share this with anyone that you know that might be getting married. That's light bulb, like, oh yeah, I'm going to share this with my son, my daughter. And the benefit of this is that now you are not doing a paid ad. A paid ad is a little sketchy. If couple's coming across you for the first time ever and it's a paid ad, it doesn't feel so right. But now all of a sudden, the paid aspect has been masked behind the share. And you've targeted somebody else who has shared that piece of content. And now that shared piece of content is coming in organically as a bit of a referral rather than as a dirty paid ad. Again, I'm kind of summarizing the things that I think are happening here. I don't have 1,000 weddings worth of data to be like, this is exactly what is happening. But in my experience, this turned out to be pretty true when targeting parents of couples getting married. And because I like to keep my ads speaking to one specific person, I don't ever like to just be like, hi, I'm a wedding photographer, and then advertise that to absolutely everyone. I like to make something custom. And I could never really figure out how to target just specifically members of a bridal party or brothers and sisters of somebody getting married. And now that Advantage Plus has forced me into this just wide variety of ages in the local community, so you do have control over specifically like physically where you're advertising. So you pick the cities, but you don't get to tune it down to be like, I'm only going to advertise from anyone that's 25 to 40 years old. That is now out of my control. And it seems like it's working significantly better. I will take this into perspective of that I've been running a business for a long time now, 20 years. And I do know that every year, your business just gets organically a little bit better, that you are going to naturally be getting those referrals, that a paid ad is now not only a standalone paid ad for a completely unknown business, that maybe I shot one of their friends' weddings and they knew a little bit about me, but they had forgotten about me for multiple years. So that does become a little bit easier. But I will absolutely say that when I am advertising something, I am booking significantly more weddings than if I'm not advertising anything. I do pick my months and my weeks to advertise. I've kind of said in the past that it's nice to do maybe $5 a day all year. I find that, at least for myself, I'm doing shorter bursts. So I made a new promotional video and I advertise that for about a month. And moving into January, February, March is a big booking season. So I'm going to come up with something else to advertise over that period that talks to the fact that like, hey, it's winter. You can't see venues in the summer. Here's a bunch of my images from the summer. And if you want to talk to me more, here's a link to it. As well as I might come up with, depending on time as well, I might come up with a new wedding planning guide and do maybe some video content as well on site at venues. I know a lot of you are also creating behind the scenes content on weddings. Maybe you have a GoPro rigged up to your camera like I do for YouTube. If you do have those wedding days, the benefit is now that you can repurpose all that content and actually talk to a couple getting married. So I know a lot of us, myself included, I make a lot of videos and behind the scenes wedding day videos for YouTube, and I speak to you as a photographer and a business owner rather than as a couple. But I could easily flip all of those to be videos that are more client facing and just go through maybe my favorite weddings at the venues that I shot this year and make a client facing piece of content from that. But now my client that I'm advertising this to has changed a little bit, that because I don't have specific control over just targeting, I guess I could modify it in a little bit, but it's working well the way it is. I'm going to be talking to a more general audience rather than just my couple. I'm going to be talking to any potential bridesmaids, potential family members, just anyone else that they would trust, that when that share comes in, that I could piggyback on a little bit of the social credit that this other person has kind of vetted me and has watched a bit of this content, and maybe this is helpful for you. Now, going back to the topic here, that wedding photography is a team sport. Not only is it a team sport if you are advertising something, but also for the seal of approval. I am fairly certain that most of the couples that I photographed their weddings this year, that it wasn't one person that saw my website and they were like, that's the person for me, that there is a good chance that they probably have a wedding planning group of some friends, some family. And my link probably went into that, or it was in an email, or it was in a short list that maybe somebody else sent to them. And it's like, hey, here's the 5 people that I asked my friend who's a florist that they would recommend. And now thinking about this a little bit more and thinking about my website and the way that I communicate, it makes a lot more sense for me to be communicating generally to the team getting married rather than a specific person. What this means is that I want to talk through my ideal day and not only the things that I want to do for the couple, but the ways that I want to make this a great experience for the family and everyone involved with the wedding. I have rewritten my promotional video. It's online now. And I talk a lot more into this style of communication rather than just talking to the couple like my past video did. This has also changed something in terms of the images that I'm showing. I think that Gabe McClintock and I were talking. If you don't know Gabe, he's an amazing photographer. He has an Iceland workshop that is happening that I might be attending as a guest. We'll find out soon. And this will actually be my second time attending as a student to one of Gabe's one-day workshops. And the first one that I went to was a little while ago now. And one of my takeaways from him was that his portfolio is so finely crafted to just and only show photos of the couple that if you look through his website, it is very much two people in love. And it works exceptionally well for him because he does so many elopements. They do the cool elopements where you take helicopters up on mountains. And while he does the normal weddings with hundreds of guests, I would say what he's known for is those much more intimate style of wedding days. And that is his marketing. And I heard this and I was like, oh, that makes complete sense to me. I'm going to start removing any shots of details, any shots of wedding parties, any shots of family members, candids, anything that wasn't a couple. I feel like over time, I slowly kind of refined out of the things that I was showing either on Instagram or was showing on my website. And I'm not saying that Gabe is wrong with any of this. This connects him so well with his ideal couple, and it allows a consistency to his work as well that just creates a more attractive image for his ideal couples to book with him. Now, my thinking and what I am going to be exploring over this year is that if I start including a little bit more of the candid images of the people that are the most important around the wedding day in the images that I'm showing either in blog posts or on Instagram Reels, if that has a positive effect on my bookings, I suspect that it will, that I'm now targeting more of the team and I'm involving them a little bit more in it. So if somebody comes to my website and they are not the couple, there is a much higher chance that I'm going to get the stamp of approval from them, showing that I also can make them look good and that I don't forget about the people that aren't just the couple. And then the other thing that I feel like I've been sleeping on a little bit is including photos with the parents on my website and on Instagram as well. And a lot of the time, the parents are paying a small or large portion of the bill. And if they're paying a large portion of the wedding bill, they sometimes have a full official stamp of approval on who they hire and that they want to vet everyone individually. And if a parent comes over to my website, yeah, they're going to see great photos of couples, but they don't really see themselves represented on the website, which I think is a problem that I didn't know that I had. So wedding planning is a team sport. Don't you ever forget it. No, I'm kidding. It's not that serious, but it is some small changes I'm going to be making to my wedding business over this year. And I think that they are going to be positive changes. It's definitely been a positive change in terms of the paid ads and relaxing how specific I market. And just being aware of this, that it's more of a team seeing that website or that incoming piece of paid content before they decide whether they're going to share that with the actual people getting married. And just being aware of this, I feel like makes you a better business owner overall, even though it might not be something that you're going to be able to put on a spreadsheet and be like, sales are up 25% next year specifically because of this thing. I think that it is a positive step for your business to consider including more of the team that's going to be planning the wedding in your marketing. That is all for today. Again, pre-order that course, the 10 steps going from wedding photography would be a fun-time job to a full-time job. That's not what the course is called, but it is a 10-step process. Everything I know about taking your business from a fun to do to something you're paid to do every single weekend. And it is $300 off. So it's only $99 until the end of December 31st, 2024. After that, it's up to $399. But as always, 100% money back guarantee. If you get it, it's not what you were thinking it was, send me an email. I'll send your money back. See you again next time.